Hey there! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you again. I really hope you're having an amazing day, no matter where you are watching this from around the world. Today, we're diving into something absolutely fascinating about XRP that I just had to share with you. So check this out. I came across this incredible insight from Ripple Bullwinkle that's going to blow your mind. Trump's XRP endorsement? Yeah, that definitely wasn't just some random tweet. Here's what actually happened. Apparently, a lobbyist with direct ties to Ripple actually influenced that message. And get this, the timing was absolutely perfect. That post went live right when exchange supply was collapsing and ETFs were ramping up like crazy. I mean, come on, that kind of timing doesn't just happen by accident, right? This was clearly strategic. And remember how everyone completely lost their minds when the president mentioned XRP in those strategic reserve discussions? People were calling him crazy for even bringing it up. Listen, I really think Trump knew exactly what he was doing with XRP. Here's the thing that most people don't realize. He was actually meeting with Ripple way back in the summer of 2024, before he even became president again. So this wasn't some last-minute decision at all. And you know what? The person he was meeting with is probably the same guy who suggested he include XRP in those discussions in the first place. But here's where it gets really interesting. And this is how I see it. If you want to make the US dollar stronger, what's the absolute best strategy? You take that dollar to places around the world where it's never been able to go before, right? And you make sure it can move super fast and incredibly cheap everywhere. That's literally what XRP was designed to do. It was built from the ground up to strengthen the US dollar globally. Plus, and this is huge, it provides instant liquidity whenever you need it. So when you think about it that way, Trump's move starts to make perfect sense, doesn't it? Look, I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely no way that XRP mention was just some random accident. No chance. And speaking of things that aren't accidents, the CryptoQuant CEO just dropped something pretty massive. He's saying that crypto is no longer living under this whole nanny state situation. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, think about it. Those crazy Wild West days of crypto? Yeah, those are officially over. We're watching everything shift right before our eyes. The entire landscape is transforming into something completely different. We're moving away from all that wild speculation madness and stepping into a legitimate investment zone instead. This is huge, guys! We're literally witnessing crypto grow up and become a real, serious asset class. The days of throwing money at random coins and hoping for the best? Those are behind us now. You know what? I totally agree with that. And honestly, I've been talking about this for months now because you can literally see it happening right in front of us. Even the people who are deep into crypto, they're growing up with this space. It's actually pretty amazing to watch. Remember when everyone was constantly talking about buying Lambos and mansion shopping every single day? Yeah, those days are gone. Now when I talk to crypto investors, you know what they're saying? They just want to pay off their credit cards, maybe their mortgage, or get rid of their student loans. It's become so much more real and practical. But here's the thing. There's still one massive piece missing from this puzzle, and that's proper regulations. Once those regulations finally come into play, and trust me, they're coming, this entire space is going to be transformed overnight. All those sketchy, speculative projects? Gone. Anything that even smells like a potential rug pull? Completely wiped out, just like that. It's going to happen so fast, it'll make your head spin. All right, so here's something that's been bugging me. Bitcoin ETFs have literally become BlackRock's #1 revenue source, like their biggest moneymaker right now. So here's my question, and maybe you're thinking the same thing. If these ETFs are printing money for them, why on earth haven't they filed for an XRP ETF yet? It doesn't make any sense. They can see the cash flowing in like crazy. They can see there's massive demand for these products. So what's the holdup with a spot XRP ETF? I mean, there's only two explanations here, right? Either BlackRock and Ripple have some seriously tight NDA that's keeping things under wraps, or something fishy is going on behind the scenes. Think about it. Why would any company just ignore this kind of opportunity? It's like leaving money on the table. And we're talking about BlackRock here. They don't usually miss out on profitable ventures. Can you even imagine what happens when XRP becomes scarce? Those ETFs would be absolutely massive. Missing out on that would be insane. Now, I've been seeing tons of rumors floating around that BlackRock might file for an XRP spot ETF this December. But honestly, there's no solid proof backing that up yet. So we'll just have to wait and see what actually happens.
All right, so if you're sitting on anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 XRP right now, you're going to want to hear this. Let me break down what your bag could potentially be worth if ETFs completely drain the exchange supply over the next 17 months. Here's how I see this playing out in 3 phases. Phase 1, months 1 through 6. This is the accumulation stage. We're looking at a steady grind from around $2.20 all the way up to $5. Nothing too crazy yet, but solid growth. Phase 2, months 7 through 12. This is where things get interesting. The market finally wakes up and realizes, wait a minute, there's literally no XRP left to sell. That realization could rocket the price from $5 straight up to $15. Phase 3, months 13 through 17. Buckle up because this is mania territory. We're talking about a full supply shock peak that could send XRP anywhere from $20 to $50 or even higher. But here's what I really think is going to happen. This timeline might be way too conservative. If we start seeing supply shock combined with retail demand going crazy, this whole thing could accelerate like you wouldn't believe. Retail FOMO kicks in, institutions are scrambling to buy as much as they can before retail catches on. Yeah, this could all happen in just the first 6 months. And here's the beautiful part. This shows us that XRP isn't going to crash over the next year and a half. We're looking at consistent upward momentum from here. But wait, there's more! We've got to factor in tokenization absolutely exploding, and I think we're right on the edge of that happening. We're just waiting for the SEC to give us that green light. Plus, regulatory clarity is coming, which is going to be massive for utility-driven coins like XRP. And if banks finally move out of their testing phase and start using the public ledger, game over. The price could absolutely skyrocket overnight and completely reshape this entire market. There are so many catalysts beyond just ETFs. We'll see companies building XRP treasuries, institutional adoption ramping up. Honestly, I think these predictions are actually pretty conservative. I believe we're going even higher than this. Okay, so let me paint you the technical picture here because this is getting seriously exciting. On the 4-hour chart, XRP is showing a beautiful bull pennant formation. That's textbook bullish momentum building up. And when we zoom out to the daily chart, we're seeing this perfect V-shaped recovery that's absolutely gorgeous to watch. But here's where it gets really interesting. Exchange supply has dropped by a massive 45% in just the last 60 days. Think about that for a second. Nearly half the available XRP has been pulled off exchanges. That's insane! The technical indicators are all lining up too. The RSI is recovering nicely. The MACD is starting to flip bullish. And get this, ETFs have been pulling in inflows for 9 straight days in a row. So when people see that $280 target and think it's just hype or wishful thinking, I'm telling you, the math actually supports it. All these signals aren't just coincidences. They're all pointing in the same direction. This isn't some random price prediction pulled out of thin air. The fundamentals, the technicals, and the market dynamics are all aligning perfectly. It's pretty incredible to see everything coming together like this.
So here's the big question everyone's asking. When are we actually going to see this breakout towards $280? Here's what's really exciting. If this breakout happens in the next week or so, and I think there's a solid chance it will, we could see XRP enter full price discovery mode by the end of November. Like, we're talking about just a few weeks away. And here's where things get absolutely wild. Imagine coupling that breakout with the scarcity we've been talking about. If both of those things happen at the same time, we could be looking at XRP hitting double digits as we head into 2025. I mean, think about that for a second. We're potentially just months away from seeing XRP in the $10, $20, maybe even higher range. The timing is just incredible right now. All these pieces are falling into place at exactly the right moment. It's like watching a perfect storm brewing, but in the best possible way.
All right, so let's talk about XRP's price potential using Saylor's Bitcoin predictions for 2045.
But here's where things get really interesting when we zoom out that far. First off, let's be real here. By 2045, quantum computers are probably going to completely destroy Bitcoin's security. I mean, Bitcoin will likely be totally irrelevant by 2040, maybe even by 2030. Here's why. As this new financial system really takes off, the entire conversation is going to shift. Everyone's going to be talking about real-world use cases, actual utility, and practical applications. Bitcoin? It's just going to fade into the background like yesterday's news. Mainstream media won't even bother covering it anymore. But here's the beautiful part for us XRP holders. Most of us, if we play our cards right and don't sell way too early, we're going to be sitting pretty and fully retired by then. Honestly, a lot of us will probably be retired by 2030. The key here is simple. As long as you don't panic sell and you hold onto your position, XRP has the potential to completely change your life. We're talking about retirement money here, guys. This could be your ticket to financial freedom. Just imagine looking back in 20 years and knowing you made the right call by holding on to XRP when it really mattered.
Okay, so here's some breaking news that's got me thinking. Unless something absolutely miraculous happens today, Bitcoin is going to close November in the red. And here's the kicker. Historically, every single red November has been followed by another red December. Yikes! So, should we be worried? Honestly, it's not looking great for Bitcoin right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the money is literally flowing away from it, and nobody wants to face that reality. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, this massive institutional wave is coming to buy up all the Bitcoin." But guys, I'm just not seeing it happening. Bitcoin got lucky with first mover advantage on the ETFs. That's basically what saved it for a while. But now, institutions are getting bored with it. There are shiny new ETFs coming to market, and these big players want to get in on those opportunities instead. And here's what's really interesting. Even retail investors aren't going to be buying Bitcoin anymore. Think about it. Even if FOMO comes back in a big way, why would anyone put their money into Bitcoin hoping for maybe a 2x return when there are so many better opportunities out there? I mean, seriously, who's going to go all in on Bitcoin at this point? When you could put that same money into XRP and potentially see much better returns? Right now, XRP is hands down the best return on investment opportunity in the crypto space. It's not even close. All right, so this just dropped and it's got me really excited. A Ripple executive just teased that the next 2 weeks before Christmas are going to be absolutely packed with activity. According to what we're hearing, these next 2 weeks are going to be seriously eventful for Ripple and the entire XRP ecosystem. And this is all happening as we're wrapping up 2025 and getting ready for what could be an incredible launch into 2026. This comes straight from Reese Merrick, and you can see it right there. It looks like there's definitely no holiday break planned for Ripple this Christmas season. But honestly, this doesn't surprise me at all. Think about Ripple's track record. They literally never slow down. Remember during the bear market when everyone else was hibernating? Ripple just kept expanding, kept pushing forward, building partnerships globally while the entire crypto crackdown was happening here in the United States. So why would anyone think they're suddenly going to take 2 weeks off before Christmas? That's just not how Ripple operates. These guys are always grinding, always making moves. If anything, the holidays might be the perfect time for them to drop some major announcements while everyone else is distracted. This could be huge.
All right, here's something that's going to blow your mind. Over half of the market's most controversial rug pull tokens actually trace back right here to the United States. I'm talking about meme coins, celebrity coins, all that sketchy stuff. So here's the million-dollar question. If more than half of these questionable tokens come from the US, and we're literally on the verge of major regulations hitting in the short term, what do you think is about to happen? I'm telling you right now, we're going to see a massive wave of meme coins just vanish overnight. Poof, gone. And it's not just the obvious scam coins either. There are projects that people think are solid investments that are also going to disappear when regulations hit. I see so many hype tokens out there where people are convinced they're going to moon because they're connected to this or they're partnered with that. But here's the reality check. At the end of the day, if they don't have real value or actual utility, they're toast. Now, I get a ton of questions about my portfolio strategy. People keep asking me, why don't you just go all in on XRP? And I've told you guys this before. I'm not an XRP maximalist. I'm a utility maximalist. I like being invested in projects that are well-rounded and actually building something meaningful. When I look at a cryptocurrency, I'm examining the entire ecosystem around it. Take Ripple, for example. You can clearly see they're well-rounded. They've expanded into custody, tokenization, and so much more. Same thing with Hedera, same with XDC, same with Stellar. These projects are building real infrastructure. It's so much more than just buying a cryptocurrency and hoping for the best. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely know XRP is going to go on an insane parabolic run, and when it happens, it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. But I would never put all my eggs in one basket, no matter how confident I am. That's exactly what I was explaining in my previous video, and people also ask me if I regret selling my Bitcoin back in 2021. Zero regrets, guys! Once you see through the whole charade, once you realize it's basically just a marketing scheme running on pure belief, there's no going back. I've never looked back at that decision even once. I don't care if Bitcoin hits $1 million, I'll still have no regrets whatsoever. Here's what's going to happen. When Bitcoin finally starts crashing and becomes irrelevant, all these big names you see on mainstream media, Michael Saylor, Jack Mallers, all of them, they're going to be out long before retail investors even know what's happening. And guess who's going to be left holding the bag? Retail investors like us. To these institutional players, retail is just exit liquidity. Once you see that game for what it is, you don't want to be part of it anymore. Bitcoin isn't going to stay up forever. There are way too many fundamental problems. It's never going to achieve mass adoption because it's too slow and too expensive. Meanwhile, technology keeps advancing and leaves Bitcoin further and further behind. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see this coming. Look at what's happening right now. Institutions know this too. The only reason they piled into Bitcoin ETFs was because Bitcoin had first-mover advantage. As for BlackRock, I honestly don't know what they're thinking. The smart move would definitely be launching an XRP spot ETF. They're missing out on one of the greatest opportunities in all of crypto. And you know what? I'm completely happy with my diversified portfolio. I would never sell my other cryptocurrencies just to go all in on one project. I want to be holding the assets that are going to capture all the institutional money flow. Plus, I genuinely believe XDC has massive potential. Hedera has incredible potential. And I still look at Quant as my Bitcoin replacement because once Oracle's customers have to start holding QNT to use the Quant network, it's going to go absolutely parabolic. And when you look beyond that, Quant is literally the glue connecting all these ISO 2022 cryptocurrencies together. That's exactly why I diversified early on, and I still have 100% confidence in XRP as well. So until all of this plays out, stay patient, stay positive, and let's build wealth together. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I'll catch you in the next one. Have an amazing night.